You wake up before the village, with the feeling that something has pulled you out of sleep. It wasn't noise, it wasn't cold. It was an invisible weight on his chest, as if the morning itself had entered his house with morning steps. You open your eyes, waiting for the first golden thread to go through the crack in the wood, but it doesn't come. There is only a dim, sick, grey light, as if the day had been born tired. You get up slowly. The floor looks colder than it should be. The air smells of damp smoke and ancient earth. When you push the door, the whole world seems to hold its breath along with you. The sky is covered by a dark, thick, strange fog. The sun is still there, but it's hardly a sun. It is just an unlit circle, without heat, without strength, like a blind eye watching the earth. You hear quick footsteps, doors opening, low voices. Nobody laughs. No one calls for their neighbor with joy. Everything sounds muffled. It all sounds wrong. A dog moans. Chickens remain, motionless. The wind passes, but it does not bring life. It brings a dry taste of ash in the mouth. You look up again, trying to understand, and then he feels it with brutal clarity. Something terrible has begun. You try to keep going. He tries to pretend that it is just a strange morning, an unusual mist, a whim of the sky that will soon pass. Your hands look for simple, familiar tasks, as if routine could scare away fear. You get water, fix tools, observe the small fire in the house, but nothing gives back the feeling of normality. Outside, the day doesn't grow. Time moves on, but the light remains dim, opaque, as if the world had been trapped between dawn and night. You step out onto the dirt path and see tense faces everywhere. There are people looking at the sky with their hands over their eyes, trying to find warmth where there is no more. There are whispers, there are hurried prayers, there is too much silence. Animals perceive before anyone else. The horses move restlessly. The goats refuse the pasture. The birds almost disappeared. You feel the wind on your face, and it doesn't look natural. It does not carry the perfume of a wet plant, nor the smell of wheat, nor the promise of life. It only carries a bitter dryness, as if it came from a very distant fire. The sun still hangs up there like a pale wound, and within you a frightening certainty begins to be born. It is not only the sky that has changed, it is the world itself, and the world no longer knows how to be morning. You count the days, or you try, but the days have lost their shape. Without true light, time begins to flow like dark water between your fingers. The morning seems late, the afternoon feels like twilight, and the night comes early, heavy, silent, like a hungry animal prowling the houses. Then the cold begins, at first discreet, almost shy, then cruel. It enters through clothes, settles in bones, hardens hands and bites skin. It shouldn't be so cold. Not back then. Not like that. You see your own denser breath in the air and feel a new, deeper fear, because the body understands before the mind. The earth is rejecting the season. You go to the countryside, and what you find doesn't seem real. The leaves have lost their shine. The plants bend without vigor. The shoots that were supposed to grow seem to have given up before they were even born. You touch the ground and it's wet and dead at the same time. He doesn't even smell of fertility. It only exudes the cold odor of something that is ceasing to live. The elders speak quietly about signs, about ancient times, about punishments that come down from heaven when man no longer knows what he has done to deserve them. You don't. Enter. You just look around, because for the first time, summer seems to have been stolen, and without summer, you understand hunger has already begun. You go back to the fields expecting some small miracle, any sign that nature will react, that the light will return, that all this will be remembered only as a bad season. But what he finds is worse than fear. It is absence. The earth simply no longer responds. Seeds do not sprout. What sprouts does not grow. What grows dies early, without color. without strength, without promise. The wind blows through the plantations, and there is no living sound of the leaves touching each other. There is only a dry, brittle, almost sad rustle. You crouch down, grab a handful of solo, and rub it between your fingers. He looks tired. The smell of life disappeared from there. In the distance, you see men and women watching their own fields with their shoulders slumped, as if standing before bodies. Nobody knows what to say. Because how do you fight against a sky that doesn't warm? How do you face an enemy that doesn't bleed, doesn't speak, doesn't appear, just covers the whole world with shadow? You hear a child ask when the sun will return, and no one answers. This silence weighs more than any scream. At home, the pots begin to empty. The hands measure the grain better, count the pieces of bread more carefully, hide their concern behind short gestures. But you notice everything. You can see it in the eyes, you can see it in the way. Everyone avoids talking about tomorrow. Because now tomorrow no longer looks like a promise. It seems like a threat. You've always imagined hunger as a strong, immediate pain. But no. She arrives in silence, first as a strange lightness in the body, then like a persistent emptiness that doesn't go away, then as a living, cruel presence that walks with you all day long. Inventories dwindle too fast. The wheat saved does not yield. Milk is lacking. The flesh disappears. Animals lose weight, along with people. You see sinking faces, deeper eyes, slower steps. The conversations change. No one talks about heaven for long anymore. Now everyone talks about food, of quantities, of leftovers, of exchange, from those who still have something hidden. You smell the pots and pans, and you already know before you taste it that there is less there than there should be. Much less. Children cry for bread. Old people keep quiet so as not to waste strength. Men who were once generous start to distrust each other. Hunger does not only take meat, it uproots goodness. You see discussions start over a handful of grains. He sees eyes harden. He sees shame, anger, and despair sharing the same empty table. Your stomach contracts until it hurts. Your body asks for strength that food does not deliver, and in the midst of it all, the sky remains the same. Gray, mute, indifferent, as if watching the world wither away without even blinking. And it is at that moment that you understand a terrible truth. The darkness does not just want to scare you, she wants to consume everything. As if hunger were not enough, something else begins to spread. You notice it first in the smell, a sour, heavy odor of a weak body, of damp clothes, of fever trapped inside closed houses, then in the sounds, dry coughs behind the walls, low moans at night, the cry of someone who has already understood that it will not get better. Disease goes hand in hand with scarcity. She finds tired bodies, empty bellies, people without enough warmth to resist, and then she stays. You visit a house and see eyes burning, faces pale, hands trembling over thin blankets. He visits another, and the picture repeats itself, then another, and another. Suddenly, the entire village seems to breathe more slowly, as if everyone was losing an invisible battle at the same time. You feel weakness too. The body weighs, legs fail, the head throbs, and the fear takes the form of a silent question. Is it your turn now? The worst thing is not the pain, it is the feeling of abandonment. You look at the sky and it remains motionless, muffled, almost colorless. There is no answer, there is no explanation, just the sound of doors closing earlier, footsteps becoming rare, people stopping calling for each other. The world does not explode. The world rots slowly. And this is more cruel, because it forces you to watch, day after day, the slow disappearance of everything that once seemed firm. You kneel next to someone you love, and time seems to stand still. There is no more village, sky, hunger, or season. There is only that faint breath in front of you, short, broken, ever more distant. You hold her hand and feel her skin cold, too light, without strength. You speak, even without knowing what to say. It promises things it cannot fulfill. He asks him to stay. He asks him to fight. He asks him not to close his eyes. But inside you, there is already a terrible truth taking root. You notice it in the silence between one breath and another. He perceives in the emptiness of his gaze. He perceives in the weight of impotence crushing his chest. Outside, the wind drags dust and ash against the wall. Inside, the whole world fits in that small space between his hand and the escaping hand. Then it happens, slowly, almost no sound, and yet like thunder within the soul. You stand still. He doesn't cry right away, nor can it. Her body enters a silence so deep that it feels like stone. You stare at the face in front of you and understand for the first time absolutely that some things do not return, nor the light, nor the harvest, nor life. The sky took more than the heat, it took the future. And now, even as you breathe, you feel that something inside you has just died as well. The shadow is no longer just over the world, it has entered you. After the loss, you continue living because the body insists, not because the heart wants it. You walk the same trails, you pass the same doors, you see the same walls of clay and wood, but nothing seems to belong to the same world. The place where there used to be voices, short laughter, animals, tools banging, the smell of bread and good smoke, now seems too empty. The houses become quieter. Some remain closed for days. Others will never open again. The fields are dead spots under a colorless sky. The fires burn weakly, as if even the fire had lost its nerve. You pass people you recognize, but barely recognize their eyes. There is something erased in them, something that broke without making a sound. Children play less. The old look away for longer, and you realize that the whole village is becoming a place of survivors, not of the living. This is different. Surviving has no joy. There is calculation. There is silence. He has slow steps and hunched shoulders. You start to hear fewer spoken prayers and more long sighs, as if the words no longer believe in themselves. The world still exists, but it feels like a bad memory of itself. And as you walk between blackened roofs and colorless paths, you feel the unsettling impression that everything around you has turned into ruin before it even falls, as if the destruction had chosen to start from within. You stop counting the days because the days no longer deserve a name. At some point, the raw fear turns into something else. Not in courage, not in peace, in hardening. You realize this when you can look at scarcity without trembling, when you go through the gray morning without waiting for it to improve, when you see another loss and the shock no longer comes with the same violence. It scares you more than the cold, because darkness has not only killed crops and bodies, she changed you. It took away his innocence, it took away his haste, it took away his certainty that tomorrow is always born. Now, you know that the world can slowly erase and continue to exist anyway. He knows that heaven can be above his head without offering comfort. He knows that life can be reduced to fire, crumbs, silence, and resistance. Still, you keep going, and it disturbs him, because something inside you refuses to fall completely. Even surrounded by shadow, you keep breathing. Even crushed by loss, you still get back on your feet. Maybe not out of hope, perhaps by instinct. Perhaps because the human being is this strange creature that keeps moving forward even when everything around says it's over. You look at your thinner, rougher, emptier hands and you understand. The world has darkened, yes, but the longest battle took place within you, and you haven't disappeared yet. You look up at the sky once more, as you have done so many others, hoping to feel something different. But it is still there, motionless, gray, suffocating, like a roof of ashes placed over the entire earth. The sun still exists, but it no longer governs anything. It does not heat your skin. It does not save the plantation. It does not return the dead. It does not console those who stayed. And then you understand the full horror of what you experienced. The world didn't end in an explosion. It did not end in a great flame, nor in a single scream, nor in a heroic instant. It faded slowly. First the light, then the heat, then the harvest, then the food, then hope. Then it leaves you. That's what makes it all the scarier. The cruelest destruction is not the one that comes in a hurry. She is the one who enters in silence, sits at the table, and takes everything out without haste. You are still there, standing, breathing in the middle of the darkness, carrying inside your chest the memory of a sky that was once alive. And perhaps this is the worst mark of all. Surviving to remember. Survive to know that the world can go dark without asking permission. Now he tells the truth. If you opened your eyes in AD 536 and saw the sun die over your head, would you have the strength to continue? Comment, I would survive, or maybe not.